the wildfire front, what resources have arrived and are available to fight Saskatchewan wildfires? Some Saskatoon streets see flash flooding, how a short storm kept part of the city in the dark. And stars targeted by scammers, why the charity refuses to let them ground it.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the government of Saskatchewan's multi-million-dollar commitment to support those affected by this year's wildfires. CTV's Stacey Hine has details from the Provincial Wildfire Centre.
The provincial government has committed $20 million to recovery and rebuilding efforts. The funding will be used for removing debris, environmental testing, and expanding landfills.
We know that the road to recovery begins with clearing the way, quite literally and figuratively.
Recovery efforts will be led by the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency's Recovery Task Team. Communities that sustained losses during the provincial state of emergency from May 29th to June 26th will have access to the $20 million fund. McLeod says it's not meant to replace personal or business insurance coverage, but it can be used for losses not covered under a standard fire insurance policy.
Wildfires are typically an insurable natural occurrence, and as such, we strongly encourage individuals and businesses to contact their insurance providers as soon as possible if they have not already done so.
The SPSA says so far nearly 300 homes and 60 cabins have been lost in this year's wildfire season. As of Monday afternoon, there are 67 wildfires burning in the province. That's more than double the total active wildfires while the state of emergency was in effect. The SPSA says while a state of emergency isn't being called at this time, the situation can quickly change.
You know, if the situation gets worse, just like it did earlier in the spring, of course, that would be a conversation that I would have with the minister.
The SPSA says cooler weather over the weekend helped with wildfire suppression, but warmer temperatures ahead could hamper firefighting efforts. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Another summer storm that swept through Saskatoon last night left streets flooded and people in the dark. Hallie Mandrick on the season that keeps rolling through.
A thunderstorm over Saskatoon significantly affected much of the city on Sunday night.
There's always a chance that our infrastructure may be impacted by that severe weather.
Depending on the area, Saskatoon saw between 23 and 37 millimeters of rain. Many residents took to social media to share images of the significant flooding around the city.
When we got heavy rains like this in the summertime in particular, and in particular in cities, we do see like urban flash flooding or pooling of water on the roads, I guess is a more minor form of the flash flooding. But we do see this happen in cities right across Canada.
In addition to watery roads, Saskatoon Light and Power says around 20,000 residents were impacted by power outages. These outages were due in part to one of Sask Power's transmission lines being struck by lightning.
It's certainly not uncommon. And usually whenever a lightning strike happens to one of our power lines, it throws a breaker, much like you would have inside of your home. If you were to plug something in incorrectly, it would typically throw the breaker on your panel.
As thunderstorm season continues across the province, Sask Power is encouraging residents to brush up on their thunderstorm safety.
Lightning, anything like that, there is a chance that people could come across these downed lines. And if anyone does come across any like a damaged pole or a downed line, stay back a safe distance. We recommend 10 meters or about 33 feet.
Anyone who comes across a damaged power line is advised to either call the Sask Power outage line or 911. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, Jeff, the storm didn't last that long, but as we saw, it left a lot of water.
It certainly did. I know we talked about 37 millimeters of rain on the high end. My little old rain gauge said about 40 millimeters. So, yes, some places in the city got a little bit more than others, but still a significant amount of rain that it fell in our city, and it fell in other locations as well. Now, is that going to happen as we roll into the next little while? Short answer is no. Scattered showers here and there. We might see a slight chance of some shower activity across the province, but we don't anticipate much active weather for the rest of the week, and it looks like temperatures are getting warmer.
An Alberta man has died after a crane collapsed at a construction site in the Forest Grove neighborhood over the weekend. It happened Saturday morning at about 10 o'clock in the 600 block of Webster Street, where an apartment complex was being built. Police say 2 men aged 37 and 38 were injured. Both were taken to hospital. The 38-year-old man from Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, died from his injuries. There is no word yet on what contributed to the crane collapse. A 20-year-old woman is facing charges after a teenage girl was stabbed and robbed in a Saskatoon park. Police say officers were called to the 400 block of Pendygrass Road Saturday afternoon at about 2 o'clock, where a girl had been walking in a park. She said she was approached by a woman who demanded her cell phone and then stabbed her. A witness helped police identify the suspect, who was still in the park. She was arrested and charged with robbery and assault with a weapon, as well as possessing a dangerous weapon. The victim was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 2 16-year-old boys have been charged after an employee of a gas station was threatened with a gun in the Evergreen neighborhood. Police say they were called to the 1200 block of Bultson Boulevard yesterday afternoon at about 1:30. A staff member told police 3 people came into the business and started to argue. One of them pulled out a gun and pointed it at an employee. All 3 took off, but police found them. One was found with a collapsible baton. Another had a cap gun on him. 2 of the 3 are facing weapons offenses. Prince Albert police say a fire that destroyed a playground could be the work of an arsonist. These photos posted to Facebook show the fire and then the aftermath of the burned structure at the Midtown Hall playground. Prince Albert police say patrol officers noticed black smoke coming from the Midtown area just before 7:30 Saturday morning, where firefighters were already on scene battling the flames. Residents say the playground was recently renovated. Police are asking anyone in the area with video cameras to check them and report anything suspicious to police. A driver is facing charges of impaired driving after a dangerous situation along Highway 12. Officers with the Corman Park Police Service were on patrol near Martinsville yesterday morning at about 2 o'clock when they saw a vehicle driving the wrong way on the divided highway at speeds nearing 140 kilometers an hour. Corman Park Police say the vehicle almost caused multiple head-on collisions with unsuspecting drivers. The family of a woman who was stabbed to death by her partner who was experiencing a psychotic episode is speaking out after a judge found the man not criminally responsible. As Keenan Sorokon reports, the family says their daughter's safety came second to her killer's privacy.
Nearly 3 years after the death of their daughter and sister, the family of Emily Sanch is speaking out. In a letter posted online, the family says Thomas Ham's confidentiality was prioritized over Emily's safety. They had no idea of Ham's declining mental health and say Emily's dad is a physician with over 25 years of experience who could have got Hamp the help he needed. Last week, a Court of King's Bench judge found Hamp not criminally responsible, agreeing with a forensic psychiatrist that Hamp was experiencing a psychotic break when he stabbed Sanch at their Greystone home. She died in hospital 25 days later. The letter goes on to say Sanch's death was entirely preventable, adding she was the only one taking concrete actions, and Hamp's parents only encouraged Emily via text message. They regret the Crown not bringing its own psychiatrist to testify and leaving the judge to rely on the defense's expert instead. After the verdict, Hamp's parents Brian and Sandy said she knew Thomas best, and her diligence in documenting his decline was so careful and detailed. We could not help but feel her advocacy for Thomas transcended her passing. The Sanches say this statement provides no apologies, no regrets, and no accountability, adding, "We challenge Thomas and his parents to think beyond themselves and recognize that Emily's life was much bigger than her utility for them or Thomas. Thomas's actions have robbed Emily of the opportunity to live a long and fulfilling life." The Sanch family ended their statement by saying Emily did not and would not choose to sacrifice her life for Hamp, who they say has caused so much tragedy and destruction for her and her family. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A long-time charity in Saskatchewan and Western Canada is warning customers about a scam targeting its annual fundraiser. As Carla Shinkrick tells us, it's nothing new, but the organization is hoping it doesn't ground crucial ticket sales. The
Being called by scammers is nothing new these days, but Stars Air Ambulance is once again warning potential supporters to be on the lookout for a scam targeting their ticket holders.
Of course, it's concerning for us. We want to make sure that our supporters feel secure in supporting Stars, and we want them to know that their data is safe and that their information is safe.
Flynn says the annual lottery brings in a third of the $12 million needed to run air ambulance helicopters out of Saskatoon and Regina. That money pays doctors, nurses, and pilots.
So it is incredibly impactful to us, and the support really does matter.
Saskatoon police confirm this type of prize or lotto scam is not uncommon.
And Stars has always been used since my time in the units. But it kind of comes and goes every year. Usually, obviously, when those lottos take place, you'll see a spike.
So one of the current scams has people being called randomly, asking if they bought a Stars lotto ticket. If they say yes, then they're asked to go buy a gift card to get the grand prize shipped to their house.
We will never ask for money. We will never ask for your Visa card or any sort of information to claim your prize. So please keep an eye out if you see any of that messaging or if someone reaches out to you.
Flynn assures that no breach has been made to their database and the scam calls are random.
They would have no access to our database. They would have no access to our information. That is all private, secure.
Police suggest calling them if you receive a suspicious call or message, adding once you fall prey to this scam, though, there's little they can do.
And that's why they use the gift card variation, is because it's virtually impossible to trace once the code's been provided to the bad guys.
Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon Transit's downtown terminal has temporarily moved. The terminal on 23rd Street and adjacent bus stops have relocated 1 block west to 2nd Avenue, while construction and road restrictions are in place on 3rd Avenue and 23rd Street. Most bus routes will be detoured. Bus stop signs and transit staff will help people find their buses and transfers. Sidewalks and customer service center will remain open during the work. It's expected to last up to 4 weeks. Saskatchewan health officials are taking action to make improvements on workplace culture at Regina hospitals following a third-party review. The province says the review was conducted by 2 medical leaders from Ontario and Nova Scotia with 14 recommendations put forward. The recommendations are for the Ministry of Health, the Saskatchewan Health Authority, the Saskatchewan Medical Association, along with the University of Saskatchewan's College of Medicine. The independent review comes after complaints were made of racism, misconduct, and a lack of professionalism toward doctors at the Regina General Hospital in November of 2023. The Saskatoon Berries have entered the second half of the WCBL regular season, having lost only 4 games. But as John Flatters finds out, it's not just one player carrying the team's success.
Most teams would admit defeat when falling down 5 runs in the first inning of a baseball game. But if you've been following the Berries this season, you knew they wouldn't give up Sunday against the Regina Red Sox.
Yesterday we were down early, and Dallin Root did a good job calming everything down on the mound, and our bullpen did a good job, and we were able to have a big inning. And that's just the biggest thing with this group. They just keep playing no matter what the score is.
While the Berries went on to win 7-5, it's one of many examples of the team's resilience this season.
I think as a team, we really came together when we walked off against Moose Jaw just last week. We had a big outing from a guy who hadn't pitched in a bit, and the bats came hot at the right time.
The roster is deep at every position, meaning players have to be versatile to get in the lineup. It also gives Coach Carnahan, a 2-time league MVP himself, a chance to keep players fresh by not leaning on any one player too much.
We have a good group, so they hold each other accountable, and they just love playing the game of baseball, and they love being around each other. And we've just been fortunate with this group for them to be able to gel pretty early and just enjoy one another and being around one another.
With 26 wins and a 56-game schedule, the Berries are flirting with a WCBL single-season record for most regular season victories. That high bar is set at 44 wins by the 2024 Sylvan Lake Gulls, but the team isn't focused on the results.
No, I wouldn't say we're worried about that. We just take it one game at a time and win.
And whether they're in the lineup or not, the players say word travels fast about how fun it is to be at the park on game day.
Oh, the crowds are fantastic. Couldn't get any better. The games are good. The weather's been great for us, so yeah, no complaints.
100%. That's like the best part about coming here and playing is the fans. Like, you get great crowds here in Saskatoon and just a lot of family and home guys coming out to support the team. It's great.
After the rain Sunday night, the grounds crew was busy getting the field in shape. The Berries are back in action for a 2-game homestand against the Moose Jaw Miller Express. John Flatters, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Prince Albert is ready to host the world's best men's softball players. Jasmine Pelche on Team Canada's hopes for the tournament and what hosting means for the city.
8 teams are competing for the title of Men's Softball World Champion at the World Baseball Softball Confederation World Cup Finals, which kick off Tuesday at Prime Minister's Park. Canada won silver at the previous event in 2022.
22 hurt a lot. Being so close, we get so far. So usually our motto is how we steer our ship. If you're not first, you're last. So we're here for one goal, and that is to come back out on top. But it is nice to be back in our own country, so hopefully we can get to that game.
Team Canada, ranked 4th in the world, will play in Group A alongside world #1 Argentina, 5th-ranked Venezuela, and the 8th-ranked New Zealand.
We're very excited with the 16 athletes that we've chosen. We're fully prepared. We had a good prep tournament with the 4 nations last weekend, so we expect every game to be a dogfight and right down to the last inning.
Chair of the local organizing committee, Ian Litzenberger, says a moment over 10 years in the making has finally arrived.
It's been a decade, right? And so many of us have put in the time right from the start. And to see and to think that first pitch is tomorrow at 11:30 is just, as I mentioned earlier, just so humbling. At the end of the day, we get to watch some amazing ball, but we get to leave a legacy for this community.
2 Saskatchewan-born players will be representing Canada this week. Saskatoon's Devin McCullough and Delisle's Max Major. Canada plays its first game Tuesday evening at 8:30 against New Zealand. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
A man who was killed after being hit by an impaired driver was remembered over the weekend on the golf course. The first ever Austin Walker Memorial Golf Tournament was held in Warman. Austin Walker died last June while riding an electric scooter. The driver has pleaded guilty to impaired driving causing death and failing to remain at the scene. Austin's loved ones organized this tournament as a way to remember him and spotlight the serious consequences of impaired driving.
I just thought it was a great way to honor him. All his friends and family can come and just spend a day. You know, like I said, we don't want it to be a sad day. We want it to be a happy day. So far, so good.
The event sold out and 144 golfers showed up to play a round for Austin, also known as Aussie. Still to come, urgency in Texas following devastating flash flooding. Also, why there's some skepticism as interprovincial trade barriers come down. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. An urgent search is underway for survivors in Texas after more than 90 people were killed in deadly flash flooding, among them dozens of children and their counselors at a Christian summer camp. People swept to their deaths after water rose quickly. Some 4 months of rain fell in just hours, and there's more on the way. Adrian Gabriel is in the U.S. Capitol tonight and has more on the tragedy and criticism being levied at Washington for the slow response to impending danger.
As the search for survivors intensifies, the full scale of this deadly disaster is coming into focus. This footage shares a glimpse of just some of the 850 life and death high water rescues that took place. Hundreds of state and federal first responders and more than a dozen K-9 units are on the ground, including volunteers on foot and horseback.
If it was my babies, I'd want somebody looking, so that's why I'm here.
Dozens of children have been confirmed dead, with another 10 campers and 1 counselor, as of this morning, still missing from Camp Mystic, a Christian girls' camp.
I've lost mere friends, best friends, my boss, my godchildren, my house, my car.
The camp, perched along the Guadalupe River, saw floodwaters rise 8 meters in just 45 minutes. 2 hours north in Kingsland, Texas, this time-lapse shows just how quickly floodwaters rose.
You know that your child is going to be swimming and canoes and horseback riding and doing archery and making lifetime friends. And then suddenly it turns to tragedy.
With the National Weather Service saying their flood warnings were timely and accurate, questions about weather alerts reached those most at risk remain, with the mayor of Kerrville, Texas, admitting he never received one.
Everyone here, if we could have warned them, we would have done so. And we didn't even have a warning. We did not know.
The city manager of Kerrville asked today why an evacuation order wasn't issued.
It's very tough to make those calls because what we also don't want to do is cry wolf.
An answer that will bring little comfort to those who've lost so much.
With the U.S. president signing a major disaster declaration for Kerr County, Texas, federal emergency management agency resources have been deployed as ongoing discussions to close down FEMA are still taking place, according to a White House spokesperson today. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Washington.
The premiers of Alberta and Ontario signed a memorandum of understanding today to boost trade and cooperation. But as Rachel Aiello reports, as more interprovincial trade barriers are coming down, there's some skepticism over whether these agreements are the answer.
Free trade being one within all the provinces that will add over $200 billion to our economy.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford touting the potential of Canada-wide free trade after signing new agreements with Alberta to advance energy infrastructure and support the automotive and alcohol manufacturing sectors.
Today's signing marks an historic partnership founded in a mutual ambition to reach the full potential of our provinces.
This deal is the latest in a series of policy moves made in recent months to try and limit the damage caused by U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war by breaking down interprovincial trade barriers. Though a new report out today from a left-leaning think tank argues that the notion that resolving such issues could lead to more than $200 billion in economic gains is pure fantasy. One of its authors cautions the cost of cutting this red tape could result in a race to the bottom for safety and service standards.
I think Canadians need to be wary, and they need to be cautious anytime they see a government saying they're doing something to respond to a national emergency, right?
Meanwhile, one of the authors of the report where the $200 billion estimate originated acknowledged politicians have overstated his estimate.
It's also an estimate that we put forward that represents the maximum possible gains from fully eliminating all of the internal trade barriers in Canada, which so far no government has put anything on the table to actually achieve that objective.
Today, Internal Trade Minister Chrystia Freeland's office said the federal government knows there's more work to do. And that work will continue tomorrow when the ministers responsible for internal trade from each province and territory meet in Quebec City. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Flights have now resumed at the airport in Kelowna, BC, after wildfire crews working in the area had to shut down the airspace. The Welland Creek fire is now being held, which means officials believe it won't spread any further, but it got dangerously close to some homes yesterday. Air tankers and helicopters were deployed to the Ellison area. The fire started on a hill behind the airport. Flames quickly spread, coming close to homes. The BC Wildfire Service closed the airspace for several hours, delaying or canceling several flights. The U.S. Department of Justice says there's no evidence that accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein kept any sort of client list or that he was murdered.
An exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death, and they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. They committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that.
It also says it's not planning to release any new documents related to the matter, despite the fact that U.S. President Donald Trump previously promised to release more files on Epstein. For years, right-wing media figures have suggested that the government is hiding secrets relating to Epstein. During his feud with the president, billionaire Elon Musk accused Trump of appearing on the supposed files. The Department of Justice has also released hours of jailhouse security footage that shows no one entered Epstein's jail cell on the day he died. All right, Jeff. So today was a warm, it was kind of muggy day out there today, and more heat is coming.
More heat is coming. Temperatures are going to be certainly on the rise as we make our way into Tuesday and Wednesday, backing off a little bit later on. But yes, some warm temperatures are on the way. But we don't anticipate much in the way of active weather, although, you know, when you've got hot temperatures, sometimes things can pop up. So let's take a look at what we've got going on right now in Saskatoon. 21 degrees, not particularly windy right now. That's true of Prince Albert too. 23 degrees right now in the Gateway City. Also 23 in the Battlefords, and winds from the south-southwest at 17 clicks. Saskatoon's almanac, well, our daytime high today, 23 degrees, so just a little bit below seasonal. Typically, we should be around 25 degrees. The record warm temperature on this date, a hot 36 degrees in 1894 and 1926, and the cold temperature record on the 7th of July for Saskatoon from 1986, that was 5 degrees, and the sun is going to go down at 9:28.
Coming up, turning obstacles into opportunity, how a problem tree is now delighting a neighborhood.
All right, welcome back and take a look at, well, look at that. Paddle boarders out there, and then things are looking good on the South Saskatchewan. Lovely to see. I think I was going to see, oh, that's just, I thought that was a boat. It's just a little sort of animation part of my name thing there. Anyhow, we've got ourselves a lot of activity on the river, and it's just be careful out there because we do have a lot more in the way of hot temperatures on the way, and I know a lot of people will be tempted to be down by the riverside. Not a lot of active weather popping up just, you know, along a cold front. We've got ourselves a little bit of a, you know, some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. But on the Elbow region of Alberta, a little something brewing up there. We'll keep our eye on that, see if it has any problems in terms of impacting the Calgary Stampede. I'll get out of the way here and we'll take a look at our numbers just to recap. 21 degrees in Saskatoon and 23 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. Our hot spot today, that was Maple Creek at 26 degrees. Stony Rapids, the cold spot at 6. Around the province we go. Currently, it is 22 degrees in Lloydminster, Swift Current, Moose Jaw, and Regina. 21 in Yorkton and 20 in Estevan. A closer look at central parts of our province. Temperatures don't range all that much, just a 4-degree range on this part of our map. 20 degrees in Wynyard, 24 in Meadow Lake, 21 in Kindersley, and 23 in Nipawin and Hudson Bay. Up north, well, we've got ourselves 16 degrees in Stony Rapids and Collins Bay. It warms up to 23 in Buffalo Narrows right now. It's 20 in La Ronge and 24 in Sandy Bay, Island Falls. And down south, no breakout temperatures here. Again, not much of a range. We have a range of 5 degrees, from 20 degrees in Indian Head, Broadview, and Carlisle, up to 25 in Maple Creek and Leader. A lot of other places in the low to mid-20s. So there we go. On to our futurecast. Well, here we go. The computer modeling indicating not a lot in the way of active weather. We're keeping our eye on what's going on, as they say, in British Columbia and see how that may impact Alberta and ultimately Saskatchewan. But those pressure lines get a little closer together starting around noon, and that means we might have some windy conditions as we roll into Tuesday. Heat warnings in effect for areas of southwestern Saskatchewan, Leader, Maple Creek, Valmarie. Those typically hot locations are expected to be quite warm as we make our way into the next 12 hours or so. So keep that in mind. And of course, we still have air quality alerts in place in many parts of northern Saskatchewan because of the wildfire smoke. Cloudy or mainly cloudy skies in northern Saskatchewan. Tomorrow, temperatures basically around 28 degrees. Slightly warmer in west central Saskatchewan. 30 degrees in Meadow Lake, 32 in Kindersley, 31 in Rosetown, 28 in Spiritwood. Temperatures at 30 degrees, just slightly higher than that in southwestern Saskatchewan. 33 degrees for Maple Creek and Leader. 30 degrees for Moose Jaw, just a little bit cooler than that in Regina, Yorkton, and Estevan for Tuesday. And in east central Saskatchewan, temperatures hanging around 26 or 27 degrees with mainly sunny skies, a bit more clouded in the Watrous area. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on for the Battlefords. Partly cloudy skies tonight, 12 degrees, 30 tomorrow. Winds a bit breezy at times, gusts up to 40 kilometers an hour. And then on Wednesday, 26 degrees, still above seasonal. 20 on Thursday, bouncing back to above seasonal temperatures on Friday and Saturday. Sunday, a chance of showers and 23 degrees and 19 1 week from today. For Prince Albert and area, slight chance of showers tonight with the risk of a thunderstorm. 11 degrees, mainly cloudy skies on Tuesday. And then 30 big degrees on Wednesday, 22 on Thursday, but bouncing back on Friday and Saturday. 24 degrees on Sunday, and 1 week from today, a chance of showers and cooler temperatures. temperatures. 11 degrees for Saskatoon overnight, 30% chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm, but clearing skies overnight. The winds back off, but they pick up tomorrow, especially around noon. Winds out of the south, 30 gusting to 50, mainly cloudy skies, but a high of 29 degrees, 30 on Wednesday, 21 on Thursday, Friday 26, 2 degrees warmer than that for Saturday, Sunday 25, so still staying seasonal, but then a bit cooler on Monday, 20 degrees and mainly cloudy skies.
Got surfing.
It's a public beach.
Yeah, but nah.
Australian actor Julian McMahon has died. That scene was from his role in 2024's The Surfer, but he was better known for roles in TV series like Nip Tuck, Charmed, and for playing Dr. Doom in 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Four movies. His family shared the news, saying he passed away last week in Florida. He was 56.
This would be a medical breakthrough that could save countless lives.
The latest movie in the Jurassic Park franchise crushed the competition at the weekend box office. Jurassic World Rebirth opened with $91.5 million U.S. in ticket sales over the weekend, following an early Wednesday opening to take advantage of the long weekend south of the border. F1 dropped to second place in its second weekend with $26.1 million, and the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon earned another $11 million. Yes, indeed. Ozzy Osbourne has performed what he says is his final live show. The 76-year-old heavy metal icon reunited with his band Black Sabbath for the first time in 20 years in front of 40,000 fans. The show took place back where it all started for Black Sabbath in Birmingham, England. Osbourne has struggled with walking after being diagnosed with Parkinson's and sang from a black throne. All proceeds from the show went to charity.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day, and you have your usual Trio Plus One.
Well, yeah, there we go, Trio Plus One. That's exactly right. We'll start off with this one, a lovely shot that was sent to us last week, and we finally had a chance to put it on. This is from July 2nd, and this is the Hanley United Church at 8:30. Pot of gold rainbow. So thank you, Susan, for sharing that image with us. The next one comes to us from Hannah Sullivan, and she's the granddaughter in this story because that's her granddad. Ron from Porcupine Plain is spending his 80th birthday with kids, grandkids, friends, and family. His birthday is actually today, July 7th, but this was from the weekend, so we want to pass along our best wishes to Ron as well. And finally, happy birthday to Andrew McDonald. Andrew is the fella on the right, Ryan, who sent this picture on. He's on the left, and they're best friends. They're members of the Saskatoon Soaps as well. And the next picture, well, this is the guy Andrew says is his actual best friend. Yeah, I'm sure. Thanks, Ryan, for sharing those, sending in those pictures. And happy birthday, Andrew. I hope you're having a great day. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Still to come on CTV News, the Riders get a big boost as they look to stay undefeated. But up next, getting creative with a troublesome bush. A BC couple is proving that obstacles can be turned into opportunity. CTV's Adam Sawatsky has more on how a problem tree ended up delighting a neighborhood with some thoughtful pruning.
Every time she backed up her car,
the head on the swivel really a lot.
Tracy Ferreria's view of the oncoming traffic was blocked by that bush.
It was a bit of a challenge safety-wise.
But Tracy didn't want to cut it down. So her husband John wondered if the best workaround was to cut through it.
And so I made a couple of holes.
Which proved to be a whole lot of help for Tracy.
That's brilliant. This is so much easier to get out of the driveway.
Until a friend mentioned the hole looked like a mouth.
You got to make a face. So I made a face, let the hair grow on it.
He even named it. But despite John's best efforts, the dude seemed to be somewhat dour.
I said, you got to do one on the other side that's happy.
So John made the other side smile, which not only inspired passing people to share appreciative comments, but leave presents too.
And left a beer there for me to say thank you. For Christmas, someone left a card and say thank you.
Because every season, Tracy and John find some way to make the dude even more dynamic.
For Halloween, I have a mannequin that I stuffed in its mouth there.
While the grumpy side can get ghoulish, the smiling side is happy to hop at Easter or ho 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 come Christmas.
I sewed a really, really, really big Santa hat to put on it.
But when it comes to celebrating our country, there's a consensus that both sides fly flags attached to hockey sticks.
In today's world, I think we need to do happy stuff.
Which is why John has expanded his positive pruning to include a second bush he calls the little dudes, who Tracy calls the kids, because like real children, they also can't get enough of Christmas.
A little bit of effort can bring a whole lot of joy. So why not take the time?
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
When we come back, good news for the riders ahead of their big game and trimming locks for a good cause in Saskatoon.
All right, let's take a look at our rural forecast as we make our way into Tuesday. And temperatures are going to be on the warm side of seasonal. Some places will be downright hot. If by hot you mean 30 or more, because that's certainly true of Outlook and Kindersley, some place like Meadow Lake, some places darn close to it, you know, in the high 20s. But we've got ourselves some roasty, toasty temperatures as we make our way down into southern Saskatchewan, as you can see, towards the western side of the province. So southwestern, south central Saskatchewan, temperatures at 30 degrees or warmer, and still pretty warm towards the Manitoba side of things. 26 in Kenora, 25 in Broadview, and 24 in Carlisle. And what about Strasbourg? Well, Strasbourg is going to be topping out tomorrow at 30 big degrees under sunny skies. A bit on the breezy side at times, winds out of the south 20, but gusting to 40. So a warm and breezy day, shall we say, for Strasbourg. And Strasbourg is where internet's plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The Riders are returning from the team's first bye week of the 2025 season. Quarterback Trevor Harris, who was forced to miss Week 4's matchup against BC due to a concussion, is back. Despite that, he says he's eager to get back on the field. Jacob Carr has more.
Trevor Harris is back on the practice field for the Green and White this week. If it was up to him, he would have been in action during Week 4's win against the BC Lions, but in the end, Harris had to think about the long game.
I was fine. Let's not probably go down that road. A little bit of a shouting match, but always trust what the doctors are saying, and you know they're looking out for our best interests. You know, and at the end of the day, we've only got one brain, and we're all going to be 55 and 60 someday, and I got 4 kids.
The Riders come into Week 6 as the only undefeated team in the Canadian Football League, and getting their starting signal caller back is a big boost.
The squad's happy as ever to have him back out there and doing what he loves to do, and you know, for me, always just for those guys, I'm just happy for them to be able to get back out there and do it. You know, I know he don't like to miss nothing.
While Harris might have enjoyed an extended 2-week bye due to injury, the majority of the team is fresh off 1 week of rest, but now it's time to get back to work for the Green and White.
The energy was high all the way from the meetings this morning. Dudes missed each other, you know, so that's a good thing. So everybody was ready to get back and get after it, and I thought the practice was excellent today.
Clarence looking to throw again. Far side intercepted. It's taken away by Moncrief. This is a dagger. Can you believe it?
Harris and the Saskatchewan offense face a stiff upcoming test in former Rider Derek Moncrief and a Stampeders defense that just held Winnipeg to 16 points.
I don't think anybody scored a touchdown in the first 3 quarters on this defense. They make things very difficult on you because the best defense is they don't do 65 different coverages. They play what they play and they get really good at it, and they make things difficult for you.
There will be plenty of early season stakes for Friday's West Division tilt, as the winner of the game will take hold of first place in the division. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is $1.34 a litre. That is holding steady. The lowest price in town is $1.19.9, also holding steady. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day at $102.69. That is up. Nutrien also up on the day, finishing at 51 cents up. Coming up, lifting spirits with the help of some scissors. And a controversial but wildly popular event is underway in Spain.
Hey there, Derek Chesney here at the Saskatoon Crime Stoppers. This week on Crime Stoppers Unmasked, we're asking for the public's assistance in finding those responsible for a homicide that took place in the city's West End in the 400 block of Olmsted Road on the early morning hours of June 12th, 2024. Harvey Zorb, 66 years old, lived in a care home in the 100 block of Olmsted Road. Harvey had a routine he liked to follow and was often up earlier than the other residents. At 5 a.m. on June 12th, Harvey left his home before breakfast to get a drink from the 7-Eleven on Pendergrass Road. He purchased a drink at 5:25 a.m. and left the convenience store to head back home through Herbert S. Sears Park. A short time later, as Harvey made his way through the park, he was attacked. One witness saw 3 possible suspects. Harvey was brutally beaten with what police believe a T-shaped piece of metal. He was found around 6 a.m. with life-threatening injuries. Harvey received medical attention on scene and was then transported to hospital where he later died. Police, through their investigation, seized many hours of video surveillance, and they are confident that the killer and their associates are in this video. After reviewing the crime scene footage, police could see a large amount of foot traffic in and around the area of Herbert S. Sears Park that morning. Therefore, it is known that there are witnesses that have seen something that have not yet come forward. Do you have any information about this senseless and violent homicide, or who is responsible for Harvey's death? If so, please give us a call at 1-800-222-8477 or leave a tip online at SaskatoonCrimeStoppers.com. We pay cash rewards of up to $2,000 for information about this crime. Tips are completely anonymous. We don't want your name, we just want your assistance. Saskatoon Crime Stoppers, do your part to stop crime in our community.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television right here on CTV starting at 7 o'clock. Well, it was all about cuts for a good cause over the weekend. Hairdressers and estheticians volunteered their time yesterday, giving makeovers to roughly 200 people at the Saskatoon Indian and Métis Friendship Centre. It's part of Haircuts for Hope, a fundraiser for outreach supplies for people experiencing homelessness. Hairdresser Haley Beckler was the inspiration for the event. After losing 2 friends to drug use, she wanted to help people who don't have access to haircuts or beauty services. The event's silent auction ends tomorrow afternoon. Looks like they had some outdoor activities as well. So decent weather.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, crowds packed the streets in northern Spain today to kick off the Festival of San Fermin. Today marked the start of 9 days of uninterrupted partying.
Yes.
Festival's highlight is the famed bull runs each morning, starting tomorrow. It draws over 1 million people to the city of Pamplona each year. The controversial event has also attracted protests over the years, including today from animal activists over what they call animal cruelty. But a lot of people.
A lot of people
in the streets.
Yes, a lot of impacted livers. Yes, indeed. But that is, I didn't realize it was a week-long thing, you know?
Yeah.
Look at those giant balls. Woohoo-wee! Yeah.
All right, back here at home, it's going to be a warm week.
Yes, it is going to be a warm week, and some parts of the province are going to be dealing with heat warnings. That includes, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Leader, Maple Creek, Val-Marie, the usual spots. Humidex values of 32 degrees or greater, so that's why Environment Canada issued these heat warnings for southern Saskatchewan and obviously parts of southern Alberta as well. Other parts of the province, it doesn't show up on the map here, but Waskesiu, La Ronge, those locations have a air quality warning, whereas the areas you see in gray there on your map, those are air quality alerts. But La Ronge and Meadow Lake, Waskesiu, those places are dealing with that. So moving on to here at home in Saskatoon and area, 20 degrees tomorrow at 9 a.m., 24 by noon, mid-afternoon around 30 degrees, and 28 by 5 o'clock under sunny skies, and it's going to be a windy afternoon.
Looks like it. It might feel better. It might feel okay because it's going to be hot.
I love your positive attitude.
Well, we don't have a choice, do we?
It's warm and windy.
I'll be inside.
The summer wind came blowing in. Want me to continue?
No. Thanks for watching.